just give us view rights only. Your website will be listed down here. If you've got 500, don't give us rights to them all. One will do. You just add the one that you want to give us the rights to and save changes. And that's all you need to do. And then it will pop up on kind of the eChampions one. So we'll be able to monthly run reports of everybody's data, the ones that we're asking you to share, which, like Jenny says, they're not confidential in any way. And we'll be able to share it with you all, so you can get a report that nicely shows yours compared to everybody else's.
There's just a quick bit to say about anything to do with the community that we've just looked at, the forum and this stuff. We don't, we're not going to have that spidered by Google, which means that it can't be automatically searched by Google. In that respect, it is genuinely a private community. Well, other people in the community can see it, but in terms of that data sharing, what we'll also be doing before we do that is establish some rules that everybody's, you know, the broad consensus are happy with. This is how the data is going to be used or not used. This is how we will or won't supply it to kind of other people. We're still sort of bottoming out all that methodology there.
And again, only accessible to the business champions.
Yeah, it might well be that we have some degree of anonymity in the data, and that somebody makes an approach to you and says, you as company X seem to be doing pretty well. And then we look and say, okay, can we broker a conversation to say, actually, it's so and so and so and so. And then they say, well, I knew anyway because we met at an event.
So we do ask you to do this. It will be on the action points, but if you've got any problems, give us a ring and we can talk you through it.
So just make sure that everybody's happy with this. There are 2 levels of membership. The bottom level are basic members. We don't expect you to take part in the stat sharing. You don't have to. The full member, we expect you to take some role in that. That's one of your obligations. Is the data isn't meaningful for a community unless everybody shares it. You see what I mean? Other industries are doing it. So you know,
if you're a level 1 member, is that optional? You can or can't do it.
I think
is it stat sharing, or is it?
I don't think it really is, because, you know, I'm going to sound like a techie geek now, but from the website's point of view, if you're a full member, you have access to certain things that you just don't have access to if you're a lower member. So I think it is just one of the really good benefits about being.
Well, you've got 100% attendance, so you're a full member, right?
Yeah, that's it. Right.
Okay, so everybody happy with that so far?
Yeah, moving on swiftly. Filtering out your internal traffic, is everybody doing that already? Yeah. Some people definitely aren't. I mean, if you've got a developer, specifically if you've got one in-house who does work on your site, they can very quickly make the stats look excellent, which in some cases is actually enormously to their own benefit, because they then feed back to the management team how excellent the stats are, because they've been doing a lot of work on it.
So what does this practically mean? This is you affecting your own stats. So you always... We had a big peak on Sunday night at midnight. It's fantastic. Where are they all coming from? Oh, it was you. It was entirely you. So yeah, you can block out your own IP addresses.
Yeah. And
hang on, just talking about this, the car coming up. Neither of us have got this.
And kind of as we keep saying, you need to integrate the websites with your overall business, and you need to encourage your salespeople need to know what's on there. Everybody needs to know what's on there, and they should be referring to it, sending customers back to it. So really, your internal people should be using your sites more and more, and obviously that will bump up the traffic.
I'm not worried that those 2 are you.
Yeah, they might be.
They might be not.
They probably are. By the way, I'm happy to share this with anybody.
But all you do, if you haven't done this already, again, back in your main panel, there's a very big obvious button here over in this tiny writing saying edit, which you go into, and it there's a long page, but it's got a filter section where you again have a very obvious big button saying add filter over here. And you can do different things. You can filter on IP addresses or domains or whatever. Most people probably filter on IP addresses because it makes it quite precise. So you just put it in here and exclude it. You can exclude a couple, because like at ours, we exclude both our traffic and the main college traffic. And maybe we should do some of the partner colleges as well, really.
So if you're ever embarrassed by your stats, turn that off and get clicking.
Yeah, excellent idea.
Just get it back up there.
Works a treat.
For those of us who are using a system that's not got a static IP address, how do you change that?
Well, you can still look up your IP address, and it won't change very often, unless, in most cases, unless there's like a big outing or you switch it off for a long time.
Occasionally the route drops out and restarts.
Yeah, that's what will kind of cause it. Yeah. But I think that's slightly self-regulating in the sense that people who are like that tend to be the very small companies, and you're probably not a person, because you're not the developer, you're not on your own site lots and lots and lots, so you won't be generating hundreds of...
I do everything, so...
Right, well, yeah, it's definitely worth looking at then. It's definitely worth... yeah, looking at.
It doesn't change too often, but yeah.
Yeah, but you're right, it is an issue if it changes.
Hopefully you're getting so much traffic that the ratio of you tinkering to them looking is
Huge.
It's a statistical anomaly. Yeah, I think I will as well.
Goals and funnels. Has everybody already got goals set up?
What's a goal?
Funnels? Yeah, what's a goal?
Analytics.
With the net behind it.
Very good. Very good.
And you've got one of them set up on your website. That's quite impressive.
It's very difficult to get the ball into it.
It is the objective on the website. Now, if you're selling online, it would be one stage after the shopping cart. It's the thank you page. And what you do is you set that as if you're selling online, you set that as a goal. So you know if anybody hits the thank you page, that they bought something. So you've got an objective there. But equally, it could be you could set the goal as the thank you page that lies one beyond the mail script, just so that when somebody's made an inquiry, ask you some questions, flagged you off, done something, interacted in some way, and your page says thank you. You can set that as the goal. You just put the URL, you set that as the goal, and Google then measures your performance against that. So everything is driven towards the goal. Yeah?
Which is, again, remembering the whole point of your website is that they support your business and they generate business in some kind. The point isn't just to have a website there and it does some stats. The point is to measure how efficient is it. Is it actually doing anything?
So we've got a series of goals. So this isn't one goal necessarily on your goal on your website. You could set a goal, for instance, as for Han, who's massively going for video, is how many people have seen this video. I think this video is really important, so I will set as one of my goals how many people versus 100 that arrive, what percentage get to see that video. And if only 5% get to see it, then we need to move it a bit closer to the home page, or put a link direct on the home page, or put a thumbnail on there, or even put it on the home page, depending on how important it is. Yeah? So multiple goals.
This is a really simple version. You can do sort of different matches. Some people, if you've got big data-driven sites, they'll long, complicated tagging onto the URLs, and this will all handle it for you. So you put your end goal in, and linking onto that, you can set up a funnel, which is what Johnny was talking about before. You see how many people drop off as you go along. So you kind of put in the pages, the steps that you think they should go through to reach your goal. So this is a very quick, basic version of it.
So your graphics should show you going off a cliff where that page is really kind of failing. So take it out or improve it.
Yeah, and the other side of it is like you're saying downloads, PDF downloads, music downloads, playing videos. You put in, it's slightly more geeky, you have to put a little piece of JavaScript into your clicks. There's two different ones. Have anybody used these already, the event tracker and the click tracker? We've had questions from Steve Heath, actually, who does all the music downloads, kind of saying, how do I know? He's got a lot of PDFs on there as well, so he says, how do I measure the PDF downloads and the music downloads? And you do it by putting this little piece of script in, and you then again set it all up like normal in here. But you can do it so PDFs, because they don't have the normal tracker in them, because they're not an actual page, is where you would typically use these, the track page view, and it will still then appear in your normal stats like everything else, like a normal page. Whereas downloads or video downloads or viewing video, and again you can put it on the play button, you can put it on the pause button, on the stop button, on the fast forward on board button. And you'll typically use the event tracking for this because it's not an actual page, and in that case it won't appear in your normal page linking. It will be a proper action.
She went all geek on us for a bit there, didn't she?
Yeah.
What you're looking at is that not all entities on a website are created equal. Yeah, so we've got different ways of tracking them according to what it is. Yeah. So any sort of queries about that, just give us a shout, really.
But it is one of the things that we get asked about, because this isn't one of the things that's very, very easy and obvious that everybody's using, but it is something that a lot of people really should be using.
You're saying for PDFs and things, it's the event tracker, not the page tracker?
No, for PDFs, the page tracker is fine because it will still then show up in your normal stats. It's basically just telling Google, treat this as a page, whereas the event one are more for videos and music and kind of action or events based.